Okay.
Morning, everybody.
I'm going to share my screen so that I can start off with our morning announcement. So welcome, Saturday, June the 12th, the Rotary Club of Shawnigan Lake EcoClub. And we are so glad to have you with us. You can see I was listening to some music earlier, but I'm going to switch to our PowerPoint now. Welcome. Have fun in this Zoom meeting. We invite you to use the reactions in your controls. You can show that you agree with something just by putting a heart, or you can celebrate that with another reaction of your choice. I'm just gonna change my screen here. All right, so today's topic is Think Shawnigan, Think Rotary. Together we transform, and we have a huge wealth of information to inform us on that very task. Rotary clubs around the world actually work hard to assess their own communities, to assess what the needs are. They try not to assume what people might need or what the community might want. And yet here we are in Shawnigan starting a brand new Rotary Club, and we have access to almost a year's worth of conversations and drawings and lots of other things that are available to the public. So I can't wait to share those with you. And it's my privilege to also introduce our team members who are on the call today. So I'm the facilitator. I will be the new club secretary. And on the call today, we also have our club president, Steve Alskins. Would you like to wave, Steve? And our club treasurer, Crystal Pope. And our president-elect, who will be assisting Steve and the rest of the team and moving into the leadership role next year, because Rotary does that. They have a succession plan. We have Ben Riel. So Ben, would you like to wave as well? Thank you. So we're delighted to have you on the call. Our other executive member, Cam Bernard, is our foundation chair. He's actually on another Zoom call right now, so you'll have to meet him another time, but we're just so glad to have you. So let me carry on with the slideshow. And I've just lost my other connection, so I'll quickly get back to that so that I can see what you see. All right, doesn't seem to be working. I will get back to it. So let's go on to our slides. So our announcements today, we grow vibrant leaders. This is actually an acronym. It's volunteers who are inspired, who believe that Rotary achieves new things. And that's the Rotary difference we'd like to bring to Shawnigan. So membership is open to anyone who has an interest in service. We're actually closing the window though for our intake of charter members. The paperwork is going in on Monday, June 14th. So we're hoping to still reach out to anyone you might know who would like to help us get our club off the ground this first year and to ride that historical effort to create something new in Shawnigan and to bring all of the existing groups together to the table so that we can tap into those international resources. So for just $5 a week, you can belong in Rotary. And we invite you to go to our website to check out the member benefits and the very easy way how to apply. It's just a single page PDF. So Shawnigan Rotary EcoClub.ca. As a recap and a jumping off point for our talk today, we have an update on our work at the Mason store area. So we continue to accept donated plants and seeds, and we're also weeding and cheering on those little seedlings as they grow in that very windy and litter prone area. So every week we've got people checking in on those and working there, and it's giving us a chance to look around and say, hey, what else can we do here to make a difference? So next up, we'll be refurbishing the Mason signboard with any kind of luck and some grants and the goodwill of the community. So we did some research this week and we will share our findings. Now, before I go any further, I'd just like to take a moment again to recognize, as it says on all our slides, we acknowledge that there were people here before us. And so it would be remiss of us to not take a moment to soberly reflect on that, to reflect what they have been through in the generations of our arrival here on their shores. So we acknowledge the traditional custodians of our Shawnigan Lake community, the Hulkaminam speaking peoples. They lived here, they hunted and gathered in this area, and we just want to respect their caring connections to each other and the places where they live, work, and play. Because how can we even move forward with any kind of wisdom unless we connect with the past? And I know there's people on the call today that are very experienced in that philosophy and that attitude of life, that attitude of gratitude. So thank you so much for sharing what you know of that as well as we move forward. In Rotary, we also practice the four-way test. You can see that on the screen too, of the things that we say, think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? That is the Rotary difference. Now, our work was cut out for us, and it is cut out for us all over the community. You can find places like this that have been a bit neglected. People just don't have time for their own yards and public spaces. So we're looking for those special people who are willing to take a chance on places like this and make a difference. Sometimes all it takes is planting a new seed, a different seed, and we're grateful for all the donations we've received. We're hoping to encourage pollinators. We can get creative with things that don't even grow, but we can be artistic. And so I appreciate all the artists on the call today. We invite your input. You can use the chat at any time while I'm talking to put in your ideas. So we're slowly starting to transform these spaces, and we're inviting the owners of these spaces to consider clearing out the old and welcoming in the new. And we also are taking suggestions all the time. There is potential here for so much more, but as you can see, it's a real central icon of our lakefront, and we hope to create even more opportunities for public engagement. There are seeds sprouting here as we speak. And speaking of sprouting, this work here in the planters was begun a year ago. We have Dinah Clark on the call today. And Dinah, I'm going to put you on the spot in just a second, but I just want to give you a grateful shout out. You and Pat took this on yourselves personally last spring, and you had a vision for these planters, and you were able to round up other partners. I know you've got Heartwood giving you mulch, and the Dorans at giving you manure and other things, and getting soil. So yeah. It looks fabulous. We got great feedback from our Facebook post. Would you like to say anything?
Didn't even know about the Facebook post. Yeah, it's just a beginning. It's always a constraint of money with plants. They're so expensive, but I just saw that things were neglected and weedy, especially on this side where you're looking in front of the Heartwood Tree Services building and the SBS building. So we just undertook to mostly tear everything out and amend the soil, keep what was there, but our goal is to plant mostly perennial type flowers that will look good year round. And you see that a lot in Victoria, a lot of planters that have perennials that look great year round. So that was kind of, to me, if you make the area beautiful, it's good for the village, it's good for the tourists, it's good for the economy, it brings up the pride. You know, I just think it helps everything. So I like plants.
I think you've done a fabulous job, and I have to say the bees agree. It was great to see them there. All right, moving along, we would like to also announce that we have applied, thanks to the CVRD resources available to each and every community. We have applied for more funding so that we can buy more perennials, bigger plants, everything that they need to thrive, and we can fill even more spaces with this type of thing. So thank you for the support that our community leaders offer us. I have also an opportunity. This is more growing and more tending, but it's just wonderful hands-on work. So we have been invited to be the caretakers at the Francis Kelsey Gardens this summer. And I'll be the holder of the key, so to speak, and the keeper of the calendar. So if you would like to sign up to help, it's all set up with irrigation. That's what all this fine print talks about, that people power is the key, it says. So we will be stewarding, weeding, harvesting, making sure nothing goes to waste. And we are partnering with the Mill Bay Food Bank and other potential community partners, such as the Women's Transition House in Duncan, anyone who could benefit from fresh produce. And the kids would absolutely be delighted to hear our stories after. So that's part of it, is if you sign up as a volunteer, is to make sure we can share later on with the school what we did. So here's the update. The vice principal, Julia Parker, has told us of some of the plants that are growing there now, with kale, strawberries, raspberries, peas, flowers, and other bounties. So yeah, as luck would have it, yeah, that'll be our job to collect that. And we are partnering with the Mill Bay Garden Club. So they are already sending us volunteers to sign up for this work. So I look forward to the collaborations and invite you to give it a whirl. Let us know if you're interested. Just send us an email. Shawnigan Rotary EcoClub at gmail.com. Our Litter Watch program is at 24 members and counting. We are so proud of each and every person that stepped up to look after their neighborhood. And sorry, I should hide the Zoom control so that that's not covering that up. This is a sustainable community service because we hope to keep you supplied with bags and the other things you need. And I've got Ben Riel on the call today. He is our intrepid connection with pickup and disposal, and he has a few stories to tell. Ben, would you like to unmute just to say hello and to share, give us a taste of why you do this?
Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're enjoying your morning. Actually, when we did the last clean review our program, when we did the full event, we went up. What was that? What road was it? It was, yeah, and then we also went up and we got a dresser off the end of the road up just in the not the Shawnigan Heights area, kind of by Baldy Mountain. And somebody left an old dresser on the end. We felt kind of bad because as we were taking it apart, we took like 90% of it away, and there was a spider probably like the size of your face sitting on the side of it, and it scared Casey so bad. She like went to pick it up. She's like, ah! And there's just a hand crawling up the side. But no, some of the stuff we found's been very interesting. Like I started my company Relax Collective with the idea of cleaning up the community, and I did a lot of trail riding and exploring kind of the back area of Shawnigan and in the Cowichan Valley, and you do find significant amount of dumping going on out there, which is sad. But if you have more people putting their minds to it and more people educated about it, and even just more people wearing hoodies, they'll know. And it's kind of a group. It's kind of a group initiative, because the more people that do it, the more cleaning up that happens and the less litter there is. We actually found that when places that are notorious dump sites are going to continually be dump sites, but if you fully clean something up, there's a lower chance that somebody's going to dump again. I think I mentioned this last time. We just had finished a cleanup, and me and Casey went and did another dump site up on North Road behind Duncan Meadows, and there's that kind of like dumping area on the side, and I know quite a few CVRD workers have to go in there and clean up a lot. We thought we'd stop and go through, and as we were cleaning up, a couple, like 4 guys probably in their 40s, pulled up in a truck. They had a big old freezer in the back, and then they just kind of like slowly passed by us and parked like 50 feet down the road. And then we kind of just hung out there for like an hour, and they realized we weren't going to leave, and then we pulled out and followed them right to the dump, and then they dumped it at the dump. We're like, I wonder what you guys are doing out here. But I gave them the thumbs up as they were coming out of the dump, and I just kind of like, I hollered and was like, you made the right choice today. But that's the thing is what people know, and it's a shame too, because I don't know where those guys were driving from, but they were literally one intersection away from the dump, and they're going to go dump something on the side of the road. So, if you clean up those areas, there's way less chance of it, filling up again too. And because if somebody knows that there's a dump site there, then they're like, oh, it's already wrecked, I don't care. But if they come up and it's totally clean, And you can even, I wanted to talk to Kim about this, and we've mentioned, like, being able to leave signs or something we can put in and just say, a group of volunteers clean this, not somebody who's paid to come out here, people who actually care clean this, and, maybe instill a bit of, let's say, positive peer pressure on the, on the
Yeah.
community. Yeah. And
One idea, I'll just jump in, Ben, is I've been looking at getting some cross sections of fallen trees, like to actually get the sign made out of natural materials, like something to effect a big rotary wheel that says this is a litter watched area, or something like that, and just have it be made out of a thin slice of tree round that we can honor with that. So yeah, just an idea.
well, that would be really cool if you could, even burn into it too or
Yeah.
something. And
Yeah,
then
and just use totally natural materials that would weather over time and just look pretty cool and
there's
different.
a lot of windfall wood everywhere, so and
Yeah.
you could do big, small, different sizes, and it
Yeah.
adds naturalness. But if you have a sign sitting up there, it does make somebody at least think twice. Maybe you might not change their behavior, but at least you might get them starting to think on it, and over time it might make a behavior change.
Thank you so much for taking time to share with us, Ben, because it's contagious, this empowerment to look after it. So I'll keep on going, and just invite anyone who's on the call who's thinking about maybe going beyond their backyard. And that's definitely the spirit that Ben and Casey and others like them have, to go beyond your backyard and to look at those spaces differently. How can we care for them, enhance them, plant them up, and encourage the native plants even that might have died off, and we could replant. So just a few ideas over the summer that we can do. And I invite you to try the iNaturalist app on your smartphone, because that's a way of identifying these things and also figuring out what critters live in those tiny ecosystems that we often take for granted. Now, I'm excited also, as we launch our new club, to honor the work that's been done already in our community by the South Cowichan Rotary Club. So on Saturday, June the 26th in the afternoon, we're meeting around 3 o'clock at the gate on Renfrew Road, where the trail crosses the road. So there is a bit of parking space there, but some people just want to ride their bikes to that starting spot. Everyone here has heard of the Kinsall Trestle. I'm gonna assume that's the case, but how many of you have heard of the McGee Creek Trestle? The McGee Creek Trestle. So that's on the south end of the lake, just off of the trail. It's actually part of the trail network if you've gone that far. And that was a very special, heartfelt project by the South Cowichan Rotary Club. And I just think it's incumbent upon us to highlight and to amplify, that's the word I'm looking for, amplify what Rotary can do, because not only did they create that bridge as a club, but they also created all of the trail networks below the Kinsall Trestle. And that was a collaboration with the technical expertise, the heavy equipment. It was all spearheaded by a young Rotarian at the time named Andrew Higginson, who actually is a member of our club moving forward in the EcoClub. So it's very exciting to have that connection between the past and what's been done here already. And we're so grateful to be moving forward in the ideas in the future. So let's take a ride out together and have a look. There's actually a plaque dedicated to the South Cowichan Rotary Club. And it's also, for me personally, it's in memory of Ian Christensen, who was one of the key voices on that project. And some of you may know him as egg farmer extraordinaire and volunteer at the Cobble Hill Fair. And yeah, we just want to honor all the work that's been done by those fantastic people. So thank you for letting me have an emotional moment. Now, Rotary connects explorers. So we're looking to connect the next generation. Like I said, with the iNaturalist app, going out, discovering what's growing right in our backyard. And this is the kind of thing that we encourage. So please follow us on social media this summer, and you will be able to get eco challenges on going exploring some of our CVRD parks and seeing what's already there. So just to wrap up our announcements, we spent a bit of time on this morning, but I'm allowed because it's part of our session today. with Shawnigan Lake. So happening as we speak is the Rotary Online International Convention. I'll give you a sneak peek when I do my screen sharing on that. Our club charters Monday, June 14th. And with respect to our sponsor club, we are filling in some last details when we join their board meeting on Monday. So hence the date. After that, at some point, we'll have a Welcome to Rotary training day. So for all the club members on the call, we're looking forward to being taught by Mark Brackett, who is a former trainer in all these regards. I think he was a club president too, possibly worked at the district level. And he's going to be facilitating a very engaging Zoom. So he can't wait to lead us through that. There's our bicycle ride, and coming up at the end of the month, the day after the ride, is our charter party fireside at Camp Pringle. So Claire Friedrich, the director of Camp Pringle, is also a club member, and she's helping facilitate our outdoor 50-person max safe and distanced installation, launch, celebration. You can call it a number of different things, but we're just so excited to get together in person. So bear with us on that. You do have to RSVP by email to our club address, Shawnigan Rotary EcoClub @gmail.com. Happy Canada Day. There is a parade in the works. We would like to be a bicycle entry in that. And Judy Bobke is the person to connect with. She has been posting the map and other things. And so I will be able to share more on our website about how to know where we're starting and so on. So just be thinking of that as we go forward. And yeah, the gardening. So thank you so much for bearing with us. Together we inspire. We hope to bring people into a greater understanding of their environment and the outdoors. And I am spending lots of time facilitating this because we are new and people wonder what we're about. And we have been reaching out to our local First Nations, and that was their very first question at Cowichan Tribes is, so tell us about Rotary. We're a little unsure, like what is Rotary? What are you about? And how would you like to work together in the future? So it is an open door. That is literally the theme this year, that Rotary opens opportunities to connect. And so in the same spirit, we're reaching out to the Malahat Nations and all the other Coast Salish connections that we can, so that we can understand. Back to today's topic, I'm going to close the PowerPoint and take you online, because I really believe that as long as we can find this stuff, we can actually learn together. So the first screen I have for you today is where to find Think Shawnigan. So Think Shawnigan was a process, but it's also a database now. It's a database of information that we can learn from. And it started back in 2019. There was a Shawnigan gathering, there was a community forum, there was a lot of different discussions going on. I'm just giving a sneak peek as I go through the documents. Yeah, I think we'll just land here for a minute. The community got together and literally with sticky notes, they decided what they liked, what they didn't like, and what they really couldn't tell was working or not. So this visual was quite a strong visual for me. The red is the what is going on with that space. The green is, yeah, we really like this. This is working for us. We use this. So the green is the community center area, just to give you an idea. The green is the Masons Beach area. The green is the public wharf, the government wharf area down here on Thrush. And yeah, that's all the positive stuff. And even that can be improved. But look at all our reds here, guys. There's this waterfront that's hard to access. And at the time of this, there wasn't a trail. There was the very beloved train tracks, of course, that people would walk up and down, but that's it. It wasn't accessible for wheelchair users or other challenged mobility issues. So, strollers can't walk the tracks, right? And so we were hoping to have improvements made to that, so we can look back now on the pandemic year and say, yay, that made a difference. The CVRD has been faithfully as Sierra put it to me this week, faithfully chipping away at their to-do list during the pandemic year. So actually, that gives you, Sierra, a heads up. If you would just like to speak to what's happening in this area right now, a lot of people do have questions, and what we can expect to see in the summer months. She's
Hi.
unmuted.
Okay, I'm here.
Hello. Thank
I'm
you,
using
Sierra.
I'm in Maple Bay. I'm using my phone for a Zoom for the first time. Usually I use a computer, a laptop. So just to that area you want to talk about? Or
Yeah,
the whole
I'm gonna
Shawnigan area?
I'm gonna give you a heads up. Yeah, that people were asking about that new park that just went in, and what you envision for that, and also just to lay the groundwork. We did have Tanel Bolt visit our club at our last meeting and talk about trail and access for all, play your way for people who have mobility challenges. So she would like to see a gearbox in that area.
Okay, so let's connect and I'll make sure the right person gets that information. Okay, so what's really interesting is, I'm sorry, I can't see it well here. In the original Think Shawnigan plan, there was with the consultant's role was to make improvements through design. And that was commercially zoned space that if you look now, we have Mason's Beach, and then we have the Sager property, which was the Sager property, Dugan Park, and the community center. So now the community owns the whole space. And in the Think Shawnigan plan, there's questions because the idea was maybe a boutique hotel, and that obviously is not the plan anymore. The park in the Think Shawnigan plan was across the street. The Sager family did work with us, was participating in the plan, but so as a community, and CVRD was in discussions with them of purchasing like an area where that house used to be so that we could have a dog park, own that parking, because currently, or before purchasing all that land, the space below Hipwood, which people used for Mason's Beach, did not belong to the community. And as that property would be developed, we would lose access. So now, and you've talked about the future, now we own that space as a community. One day when we finally fix up that whole intersection, perhaps we see a roundabout there, we will own that land and be able to make that happen. So the conversation switched at one point to let's purchase the land on the water side. And I think I saw Lori Trelaw here on this call, and she may remember this too. The original, when we started talking about the Think Shawnigan plan, we were with Ross Blackwell at the CVRD, and he said, if you really want to make a difference, 50 years from now, the community needs to own that space. And I had a lot of fear around that idea in the sense of, well, then we don't really see the benefits right now. It would be really great if we had some, a public space on the lake that the community could use more, but more in the sense of a brew pub or something along those lines, because that would be something right away that we would see. But I really think that and then we needed to solve the issue of parking at Mason's and parking for our new railway trail. So it all kind of came together and made more sense to be discussing that. And moving forward, there is no more waterfront for the community per se. Like those opportunities don't come along, and there's only so much of it. So I'm really glad that the community was able to acquire that land. Do you have
Thank you for
anything specific
that.
I want to add that you want me to add about it, or?
I think we're just, waiting to see like once the actual finishing touches are done to that lower park and how it enhances our parking. And I have to say, we describe our Rotary Club as vibrant, but we also acknowledge that there's a lot, the word rant is in the word vibrant. And my rant this week is that my car got sideswiped while I was parked in the village. I was parked just up from the post office. I was out litter picking, so I was walking the whole area, and someone in a big old cement truck, a work truck, decided he was going to try and wedge it in between me and the stop sign, misjudged, and took out my front driver's side wheel, knocked it right off its alignment, and destroyed the hubcap, and just basically wrecked my day, because my car, I had to limp it home, and it had to be towed out of my driveway yesterday and taken to the shop. So I am on bicycle, thank goodness for bicycles, but it's just I think an illustration of our parking situation. Like sometimes you just want to run in quick, and why can't there just be something close by? So yeah.
It should help with a lot of parking issues, especially even down all the way to Government Wharf, where the road is quite narrow and people are parking for the beach.
Yeah.
Etc.
And big rigs pull into Mason's parking lot, actually, because they use that roundabout traffic flow through the parking lot to navigate their bigger trucks, and that's where they go for lunch. I've been able to observe. Yeah.
So thanks.
Yeah,
I'm prepared
thank you for speaking.
I'm prepared whenever you need me to talk about other elements of Think Shawnigan. That's
all right. So
in motion.
I just, I see that these dots, there's so much represented here, and the community center has been fabulously upgraded. Their outdoor flow and traffic flow is the key word there for people and vehicles over the pandemic year. And so there is a positive vibe. There is a lot to be thankful. Oops. So I will move on from this screen and go to another one. So this was one of the gems that I uncovered, and we're calling this the highlights tour this morning because we don't have a ton of time to read through the entire document. But did you know, people on the call today, that there has been this concept drawing of a dance hall on the water at the Government Wharf and pier instead of what's there now? So who would like to speak to that? Just, I'm opening the floor now. Like, can you imagine? I think there's this historical precedence for this, if I'm right, and it's a multi-use space that takes advantage. You can see that there's a lot of glass to view the water and to feel really connected to the lake. So what would have to happen here, of course, is that they would have to relocate the boat launch facilities. And I think that's part of what might be planned for the new park. I'm not sure. So I'm going to mute now and let someone else jump in.
Well, Kim, if I can speak to that, I can share some information. Yes, the boat launch was really important. So back to the Think Shawnigan is solving issues through design. I brought the designers to that area twice, once by boat as well, so that they could see from the water side. And there really wasn't a use of keeping the boat launch there and having a safe design for that area. And the only thing that has come out from right now, we are doing, through the CVRD, doing a feasibility study to see where we can relocate the boat launch. And that should be wheels in motion over the next few years of relocating the boat launch and alleviating the parking issues that happen down there with trailers, etc. And then this boathouse becomes a possibility. And also through, I'll just share this, any of the CVRD elements right now are being taken to the next level. So they're not exactly grant ready. So for example, the boathouse, how much will it cost? What would it be made of? So all those details are being ironed out for the boathouse, extending the beach, a few other elements that the CVRD, the seating nodes that are along the trail. that will be getting ready so that we can access a lot of this grant funding that will become available through the CBRD. And what else can I share about it? And I think there's so many balls in motion that it's, when we first saw that boathouse, we thought, oh, wow, wouldn't that just be so amazing that if that could happen one day? And there was almost like this element of, well, it probably won't happen because some of these smaller things could happen. But I really think that all of the elements in the plan now are a possibility. There's so many balls in motion, and this plan has so perfect timing for any of the grants coming up through the government, like through the province and the federal government because of COVID, that we are going to be ready to really access a lot of opportunities.
I have a question, if you can hear me. Just wondering about, like, I just love this whole plan. We can have such a beautiful waterfront if all these elements come together. Is in this idea, will there be places for people to pull up their boats, to park their boats and be able to come up into the village? Because I think that's an opportunity we shouldn't forget about. And Government Wharf is the only place you can park your boat really now, so that you can walk up to the village and get an ice cream cone at the new ice cream store.
Thank you for all of that, Dinah. You're so clever to pull in all those uses together. And the traffic flow is our theme of the day. People, boats, you name it. Would anyone like to speak to that? It does look as if in the drawings that you could potentially have that lower level access, that the boats, similarly to how they operate at the galley, or I should say Marydale at the lake, by the way, is now the galley. So they're opening in July. And I would love to get an inside scoop on that this morning, but also our lake house. So the lake house on the West Arm has always invited boats to pull up and engage with the places on shore. So any
I could
Shawnigan
answer
people?
the design
Okay.
element to that.
Thank
The
you.
boats are not designed to have access through Government Wharf Park. The goal was to separate the boats and swimmers. It would just be that, well, at least for the plan right now, is that there would be storage underneath for kayaks and canoes and non-motorized vessels.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. In fact, now that you mention it, that's what the drawing is showing us is
And-
storage racks, I think.
Yeah. And on the drawing, where the boutique hotel was, there was a little bit of a marina drawn in. I don't think it's feasible with the creek right there. So,
Right.
but it could be, I think it's has more conversations about where do we put that? Maybe it's at the end of the, actually it could be in the same spot, I guess, if it's further from the beach. There's a road end. There is possibilities, but it's not part of this design plan. It would be something to create in the future.
I would like to acknowledge the voice of the non-motorized paddlers. I'm one of them too. We're always dealing with the wake issues and everything else bopping around after the boats have buzzed us. And yes, we absolutely want to create almost, that paddling zone would be perfect for that stretch between the Government Wharf and Mason's Beach. Like to have that be a low wake zone, as it already tries to be, but is challenged to be. And I think we could all benefit from that. And there's fantastic fishing off there too. When I'm paddling along, you really do get to slow down and see the lake bottom on a clear, calm day. So yeah, there would be just a really friendly vibe out there. In fact, we hope to be one of the first Rotary EcoClubs that meets on the water. If enough of us can have access to watercraft to borrow. And we can also do that through Camp Pringle, by the way. So we'll learn more about that at our fireside time. Any other comments or questions? I'm saving the chat to this recording as well, so that I can follow up with the great stuff there.
Sorry. I just wanted to say that the design for that boathouse was based on a very old boathouse that was part of Strathcona Hotel. So when they saw the historic photo, they were inspired to, the designers were inspired to create a look that mimicked a boathouse that was there well over 100 years ago in Strathcona Bay, which is near where the old galley was.
Ah, perfect. See, we're so glad to be able to connect and understand this better. The city people wouldn't know, right?
No.
I just wanted to add that I'm also a paddler, so I love the idea of separating and keeping just paddling and swimming in one location. But I do still think that a place for motorboats to pull up that's more separate and safe to access the village is a smart economic thing to do, because if people can come over and do a little shopping, it's a great way to cruise over. Not everybody has huge wakes behind their motorboats. Some like to cruise.
Thank you. And there's so much potential between the Government Wharf and Old Mill Park. There's potential there and access to an easy boat launch, I believe, still at Recreation Road. I mean, it's not easy to park there, but it's definitely easy to launch there. And we could potentially leverage that depending on the depth of lake access that we have for boats.
Yeah, I agree with Dinah having, because especially with how many people on the lake that are tourists and stuff, if you can funnel them through, the central village or, where the proposed new businesses are, that'll be a great way to have people driving by and being able to support the local community and stuff too. Like I do know a lot of people who end up launching on the west side of the lake, and they're all from Langford, or they go to Old Mill or something. But if you have like a well-developed area that funnels people through past all the businesses and stuff, that'll really help the local like the local shops and boutiques and obviously services that are in there.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone. I'm keeping an eye on the time, so we're at 8:45 a.m. and I still have yet to tell you about how Rotary factors into all of this. So we'll just review where to find these documents. So you go to the CVRD website, and it's under, there's a number of different design charrettes listed here, but it's under Think Shawnigan. And you can go over to the right to the document column, and you can see some of these are actually quite large, and some of them we were able to fit on our Rotary Club Executive Trello planning board, so that our club team at any time can go and review and reference these. So we absolutely plan to pay attention to the fine print and to be checking in with the CVRD as to our ideas and plans as we move forward. And I would like to acknowledge, of course, the tremendous work that went into all of this. So it was a partnership, a collaborative effort. It says between the CVRD, the Shawnigan Lake community, MVH Urban Planning and Design, and a number of consulting firms. There's quite a few listed here, but the people who keep popping up in the email chains are Bev Suderman, I think I'm saying that right, and Barry O'Riordan from the CVRD. They were a few of the stewards of the discussions and things. And so we express gratitude for all of that work. And we did not want it to remain on a document file or a dusty shelf. We actually wanted to make sure it became a tool for implementation. Like I said, most Rotary clubs would be so jealous of us that we have this great information moving forward. So thanks to all who were a part of that. So as I said, this weekend is a very big weekend for Rotary International. It is the 2021 virtual convention, and this has made it possible for people like me who would never be able to just pick up and go to Taipei, Taiwan for a weekend or two to be able to participate. And I have to say the tech has been so smooth since it got started, and I was up at 6 a.m. for the opening plenary. It was this wonderful multimedia production with musical talents, as well as interactive media talents. And I am just super stoked about the spirit behind it all, which is let's take our challenges and turn them into incredible opportunities. So This year's international president, I wish I could show you his video, but I didn't have that teed up yet. I'll put it on our club website later today or this week. He was just saying, look, like I was to be the president this year and I had all these grand plans, and then the coronavirus, like literally this animation of this virus comes in and smashes all of his agenda for the year. And he just thought, well, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail as a Rotary president. I'm not going to be able to connect with all the clubs around the world. There's thousands of us, and they've just opened up Rotary to a new country, even Vietnam, which was announced today. So that's super exciting. But the point is he was daunted by the fact that it was never done before. Like, how would he connect? And so in the end, he found himself actually Zooming to dozens of clubs every day of the week, and feeling more connected than ever. And his Rotary story has to do with Rotary Youth Exchange, and he's hosted over 40 kids. They don't have kids of their own, but in Germany there, they were able to host 40 kids and more over the course of their time with Rotary. So it's just opens opportunities. I have to say that in spite of the pandemic, this is a vibrant organization to be a part of. And with all the confidence in the world, we sit here in Shawnigan to say, you can make a difference here in Shawnigan, and you can also be plugged into this wonderful, dynamic, life-giving, as opposed to soul-sucking. It's a life-giving group of people with great ideas to share. And that's how we learn our best practices and grow. So it's very open, very inclusive, and committed to equity. And in fact, there's going to be a woman president from Canada is part of the succession plan for Rotary in 2023. So Jennifer Jones is from Windsor, Ontario, and she will be one of the next international leaders. So I'm super excited to let you know about that. And is there anything else here that I can show you? I'm just quickly going through my stuff for Rotary. Oh, yes. So one of the kudos, I'd have to go to their website, but ESRAG is our guide at our EcoClub. ESRAG stands for Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group. And all day Friday, I took in the symposium that they offered. So I got lots of ideas to share with the club, including nutrient-rich plant diet, including how to recycle our textiles. Thank you, Barry. Thanks for joining us. I'll let you go. And there's just a wealth of knowledge here, but the real kudos go to our local clubs. So Sydney by the Sea Rotary won a prize through ESRAG just this week on Environment Day. They placed 3rd in the world, as you can see on this slide, for their I Fix the Planet submission. And I invite you to check out Sydney by the Sea Rotary's website to see what that video is all about. So I'm going to stop screen sharing now, unless there's anything else that I can tell you. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. So with our plans for Shawnigan, there was one more little bit of stuff. I think it was in my downloads folder. Oh my goodness, I've lost it. But the grant application, it was for the island. It's called ICE-T. Sierra, help me out here. What does ICE-T stand for? It's like the Islands Economic Trust.
Island Coastal Economic Trust.
Yes, thank you. They have a grant program that's open right now. I had the file open. It's probably in my downloads folder. Gosh, it was a PowerPoint, in fact. I'll just have a quick look. And we are going to be applying for that grant to be able to improve on the sign. And yeah, it's probably this PowerPoint here that I've downloaded.
Well, I can speak to it a little bit, Kim, if you want,
Thank
while you're
you,
looking for it.
Yeah.
It's up to $50,000. It's for villages and economic sustainability and beautification, that kind of thing. And so and speaking to grant funders, they really love this Think Shawnigan plan because of the extensiveness of how much community engagement it brings with it, that they know if we get a grant, we don't need to go out and then ask the community if they're okay with it. They've already said they're okay with it. So that really speeds it up and shows that
Because Steve, as you're
commitment.
talking, I'm just going
And-
through the
And
slides.
Kim, I just, I'll try and be the last time I speak, but I just want to really acknowledge you for doing this, because the Think Shawnigan plan is a community plan that has so many elements, agencies and stakeholders. We've got MOTI, who's committed to doing the four corners, like a crosswalk in the four corners. We have the CVRD, who's committed to doing the elements that they can in CVRD spaces. And it leaves other areas that don't have, that belong to the community. So thank you so much for stepping up and bringing Rotary with you. And I think it's really exciting. And then this just shows me that it's all so possible, all of this. And just, you know, I'm so grateful that you've brought this on and that you're leading the charge through the community with this. So thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, Sierra, but I do have to correct you. In fact, I am part of a team, and I'm considered the secretary, the back end, if you will, or the facilitator. So actually, I would invite Steve to speak again. Steve, I keep putting you on the spot, but you're going to have to get used to it. Steve Elskins, for those of you on the call, is our incoming, he is in fact our club president for 2021-2022. So welcome, Steve Elskins. Steve, what do you think of what you've seen today and
Thank
how
you,
we're
Kim.
moving forward?
Thank you, Kim. I would first of all like to second Sierra and acknowledge all your work that you have done so far. I am just in awe of your drive in putting this project on the map. I think you are just tremendous in what you do. You bring so much passion and so much energy to this project that I think we are in great hands. A lot of us are not really used to being Rotarians yet, and you and Andrew are sort of the only ones in this whole club here that have some experience with Rotarians. And I think, well, as I was talking to you about becoming the president, for which I thank you for the nomination, of course, I was thinking, well, I think it's you who needs to be the president. But
No.
through our conversations, Kim assured me that it's actually the secretary that does most of the work. So that works out well.
It does. And I have to say, I've been watching a Netflix show called Suits. And if you are a fan of Suits, you'll know that Donna Paulson is the real star of the show. She's the legal secretary.
I just wanted to add that we did follow.
I'm joking. Thanks, Crystal. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to say that we did follow the Think Shawnigan planning and did participate as much as we could. And it's really nice to see some of it coming to light now. It's, yeah, exciting.
Excellent. Ben, would you like to speak? You are also part of our executive. You and Casey are a team that way. Casey, feel free to speak up as well.
Well, no, I like I said before, it's like I'm excited to see, you know, Shawnigan is a big high traffic area in the summer times. Like the population almost doubles. So when I saw the Think Shawnigan project, I was really excited about it, especially to keep more in the community. I know a lot of community members really wanted to be a lot more local and a lot more community based, a lot more community focused, and to, you know, actually have the opportunity to have more jobs to stay within Shawnigan and, you know, be able to employ more people, regardless of if it's managerial positions, administrative positions, or, you know, just, you know, the absolutely base minimum positions. Like that's really good, and that provides a lot of positive opportunities in the environment for kids coming up through the high schools, for everybody. And I really think it is it's really good to push this forward, because, you know, I say this before with litter, like with the broken windows theory, it's like if we clean up the town a bit and we make all of the pre-existing businesses look a lot more cleaned up and stuff, and then let a new development in, it really kind of, it not changes the vibe of the town, but it gives it a little bit of a facelift. And I think that's really important. I know I'm a lot more business minded than most, you know, being a businessman myself, but I really do believe that, like, you know, the small businesses in the communities really like making the impact, and there are also oftentimes, you know, to promote themselves, they like to get involved in community projects and stuff, whether it's funding or sending out people, because it looks good on them.
There's so much potential. So thank you for speaking to that. Ben is Relax Collective, brand wear. So I try to rep your clothing too. as I'm out in the community, the mushroom shirt is extremely popular amongst us outdoorsy types. So that's great. And I want to end on a positive note. And also, I think all of this was part of our traditional Rotary happy and sad moments. If you had a sad moment, this would be the time to share it. And normally Rotarians cough up a few extra coins to contribute to the club coffers at this time so that, you know, they kind of pay for their chance to speak and contribute and connect. But you guys have just floored me by your commitment and your caring and your heart for Shawnigan and your heart for the greater world. And Rotary, I don't know if you see the shirt I'm wearing, but Rotary is not just about the environment here in Shawnigan. We're also about the health and the well-being of all the inhabitants in our ecosystems. And so we want to hopefully find projects that reflect all 7 of Rotary's area of focus, whether it's literacy, health, hygiene, and so on. There's actually 7. So it's really great to be a part of a new outdoorsy club that can start everything fresh and brand new. So thank you all. And it would be nice to end early, but I'll open the floor one last time. If there's anyone who would like to share, we have some new people on the call. I didn't get a chance to introduce you, but I welcome Carolyn, Laura, the people who had to go early. It's just really great. And you will be able to find this recording on YouTube after, on our YouTube channel for Shawnigan Rotary. I'll stay on the call in case anyone wants to chit chat, and I'll stop the recording right at 9.
I just want to put out that I am hosting a station. The SLCA, Shawnigan Lake Community Association, is running a kind of like a hunt, a virtual hunt where you have to solve clues and find historic places around Shawnigan on Canada Day. And I'll be hosting one of the stations with a great big Canada Day sign with a big heart in the middle, and you can have your picture taken through the heart. I do need a few volunteers to help me out. So if anybody from this club wants to spend an hour or two helping, it'll be, I think, quite close to the village where my station will be. Just let me know somehow. I'm not sure how, but through camp.
That's awesome. Yeah, go through me. I'll make sure it gets to you. I'll make sure it gets to you. So thank you, Dinah. And
it was fun. We did it last year and it was fun.
I'll stay on the call, and I just thank you all for contributing today. I'm stopping the recording now. You can find out more at our website, ShawniganRotaryEcoClub.ca, and stay tuned for even more fun stuff this summer on social media.
I just wanted to say one thing. Thank you, Kim. You put a lot of work into these presentations, and I really appreciate it.